everybody, so today we're going to be building Rapunzel's tower from Tangled. So I actually built this once before, like last year, I believe. Um, yeah, it was last year in July. And that's actually when I started building. This is one of the very first builds I did. And my old build is still posted on the gallery, so if you want to see the improvement between then and now, you can. And actually, there is a big difference. And I'm really pleased with this build. And this is like one of the first times I used the terrain tools to make kind of like a hill. Because, Rapunzel's tower is tall. It's supposed to be unreachable. So I wanted to give that effect. And I thought, you're only allowed 4 levels on a house. So I thought the hill would be a fun idea to make it taller. And I think it worked out pretty well. And I flattened the top, and you should be able to use it. I did not test play it. I probably should have, but I think you should be able to use it. I know that I've watched a few simmers that have used terrain tools before, and it seems to work fine. But if it doesn't, then just remove the hill, and it should be okay. But this build kind of went through a lot of changes. You'll see that throughout this video, but it, I was trying to make it as accurate as possible to the movie, but it's Sims. You don't have round walls, you don't got all the tools, so I did my best, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Um, but it goes through a lot of changes. I was kind of scatterbrained while working on this build because I didn't go with a plan. I just kind of went in with, okay, I'm gonna build this today, and that's it. I didn't really go in with a plan or anything. So, you know, I was trying to do like a fun shape here. Doesn't really work out very well, and you will thank me when I delete those balls because I don't know what I was trying to do, but it works out okay. It'll be fine. But throughout this build, when I was like editing it, I was like, what the heck was I doing there? Because, like, I just had so many different ideas I wanted to try out, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't need to have ideas, or you don't need to have it all figured out when you start. You just kind of figure it out as you go along, and that's how I do most of my builds, and usually I'm happy with it. So, this is one of those things. And so the stone and the Tudor wallpaper, it doesn't really change much throughout this build. I kind of just leave it like that. It's more like the tower shape because in the movie you'll notice that there's actually 2 points of roofing. So in the back corner there's actually a roundish room, and off to the side there is a flat round piece that goes over an extended square piece. So if that makes sense. Um, So I was trying to do that, not here, but you'll see it later on when I'm trying to do it, and it doesn't look right. So, but I'm happy with how it turns out. I think in the beginning I was putting too much pressure on myself to try and make it look exactly like the movie, but that's just impossible. You can't hold yourself to that standard. But I don't know if you saw, but I think you did just see. So the rocks at the bottom, I was in the movie, it's kind of like there it is, the rocks at the bottom. I tried to make it go out at the bottom, kind of like a flare out. Like in the movie, it's not just a straight up and down column. It flares out kind of. So I kind of want to use the rocks to create that effect. And I think it works out okay. I don't think it was how I pictured it in my head, but it looks pretty. I mean, you can't go wrong with rocks. Gives it a natural look and makes it look nice and pretty. Um, But yeah, I kind of went overboard with the vines a little because I just really like ivy. I think it looks really pretty. So it's kind of like all over the place. It's kind of just like, you know, it's all over the tower. But that's how it is in the movie too, so it's okay. It's fine. But yeah, in the movie also there's this brown wood, not wood, but brown stone looking wood, I guess. It's not wood though, it's definitely stone. But there's that section, and I add that on later, I believe, to one of the sides of the build. Um, and also in the movie, the spikes that are on top of the roof, I guess spires is what they're called. They were a greenish color like that, but I didn't really like it. I was just, that's what I'm talking about. I was trying to keep it true to the movie, but you can't really do that in The Sims because the coloring is different. You don't have that variability in The Sims. But, and then so this is actually kind of funny. So in the front, you see I put the arch there. I ended with that later on. It stays like that, but not like throughout the whole video. You'll see. Like at one point, I'm like, I don't know what I was trying to do. I'll show you when it comes up. I'll keep talking about it. But I was I was kind of like face palming throughout this whole video because like I was just like trying to make it so perfect and it just But I'm happy with how it came out. Um, yeah, so I'm just building the tower. I actually, so I don't know if you guys know about this debate. Well, I guess it's a popular debate between Frozen and Tangled because Tangled came out, I believe, a year before Frozen, but Frozen got all the hype. And so I believe, and I think this is kind of an underrated opinion that Tangled is much better than Frozen. I enjoy the movie so much more. The storyline is great, the music fantastic, and you know, I just think the characters are so like well developed in Tangled. I just love Tangled. I love Rapunzel. I love it. Okay. And yes, I'm 20. Don't come at me. You're never too young to be a kid at heart. But I like Frozen. It just kind of like feels like it's been overplayed and overdone. It's not it's a good movie, obviously. Like it wouldn't have gotten so much hype if it wasn't a good movie. It just sometimes, you hear Let It Go one too many times and it's like, please stop. Like please. But yeah, some of the underrated opinion that Tango's a lot better. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, you can comment on it below. But, you know, I just, I don't know. They were like done so close together too. Oh, also, I don't, and there's also like this theory that Rapunzel is like a cousin or something of Elsa because she was attending the coronation. Like she was seen attending the coronation with Flynn Rider. So you never know. And then there's also this other theory where their parents' ship is the shipwreck in Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Um, you know, I feel like could be true, but Disney has not confirmed or denied it. They have confirmed though that their stories are linked together. So we'll see. They could be linked, you never know. I mean, it's fun to think about it. I mean, why else would Rapunzel be attending the coronation? But I guess she is a daughter of a king and a queen. She is the princess. So I mean, makes sense. But also not really, because it's only I feel like it's like I think most of the people that are there are from Arendelle or like trading partners or something like that, because that's what I remember from the movie. So I don't know. Could be family. You never know. That'd be fun. I like thinking like that, like connecting everything. I feel like that'd be really cool if it actually was true. I mean, you definitely see them attend the coronation. It's just I don't know if like this whole like underweb of connection, if like the fans just going too far. It's kind of like Taylor Swift. I'm a big Swift fan, and she does these crazy Easter egg things that make you think you're going insane. And sometimes fans take it too far, and it gets a little misleading. But here's what I was talking about. So see, I was doing the spandrels and the columns, and I was trying to make it open with a half wall. But, you know, it works, but is it really the vibe? I don't think so. Because then I also tried to do this is like trellis thing that comes with get together. I think I'm doing it now. I think, yeah, I am. I just passed it. There, yeah, there. So I'm doing it. See, and then I was like trying out for like half this video, trying to figure out why the trellis does not reach from one corner of the wall to the other corner. And I tried making the top bigger. I tried all this, all that, but the simple solution is just to keep the archway there. And I was trying to make it so complicated. Like, Lauren, come on now. See, I'm trying to make it bigger now. It's like, oh, it has to be bigger so that the trellis fits. It's like, no, just add an archway and you're good. But, it's okay. I was having a blonde moment. It's fine. See, God. Like I was editing this video and I was like, Lauren, it's so obvious the solution. And you spent like half this video trying to figure out how the heck to make the trellis fit. I even tried to like size it up a few times, but it just looked ridiculous. I was like, what was I trying to do there? What was I trying to accomplish? The world may never know. I don't know myself. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. See, I'm trying, God, Lauren, please. See, and I thought that, can I not see? I thought that like making it bigger would give me a too wide thing, but the whole solution was just to put the archway there. I get there eventually, guys. Don't worry. It's just upsetting. And then here I was trying to do like a half wall on top because in the movie there's like a half wall on top and then the roof is on top of that in the back corner. Like that's the second roof piece I was talking about. But it just, you know, you can't put a roof on a half wall. And I was trying to think maybe if I like do maybe not move objects and I had it on, so it wasn't working. But it looks fine like that. It's okay. I was just trying too hard. It's the whole point, I think. But, that's okay. See, and then there's the square. I ended up with that at the end, but throughout the video I changed it back to that like window that you saw earlier. Which is fine. You know, it's just a lot of flip and flopping. I just I just had a lot of ideas. I was trying to make it look good. It does look good. It's just, it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was editing, I didn't know what I was doing for like half the video. I was like editing it, I was like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I thinking there? Like, on the wall behind the trellis. I guess to like, I was like, maybe that will give me 2x2, a two-way entrance. It did not, clearly, and that was not a logical assumption. But see, and there I signs it up. Look how ridiculous that looks. That looks utterly ridiculous. Like, what? What was I trying to do? And I do that multiple times. That's not the last time I do that. Like, you think like, oh, it looks ridiculous. I won't do that again. No, I've done that multiple times throughout the video. Like, what the heck? But, it's okay. And yeah, there we go. I put it back. Yeah, and then I size it up again. Like, come on, girl. And I check the gallery, see if it looks ridiculous, and it does look ridiculous. As if I couldn't tell. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It happens to the best of us, I guess. But I think that was the last time I sized it up because, yeah, I think I figured out soon that an archway would just solve my all my problems. I'm pretty sure. But also in the movie, there's like this triangular piece that goes over the overhang, and I was trying to put that in this build, but it didn't look right. So it's okay. At least I tried. But I tried multiple times. It's okay. And I sized it up. No, I lied. I sized it up again. Why do I think that'll look good over the roof? Why would I think that? I don't know. I don't know why I think that. It's okay. It's fine. Yep. And then I start adding ivy to the top. I get there eventually, guys. Don't worry about it. Okay. Just a little bit slow in getting there. But the roof changes like multiple times. I think I end up with that roof. No. Yes. Yes, I do. But shortly after I put these, I realized, the green's not really doing it for me. So I start changing it to gold, which looks a lot better because then it matches the trim of the roofing. It's good. It's good. You know, sometimes I question my thought process, but sometimes you need to make a million mistakes in order to get to what you want to do, and sometimes it's happy mistakes. So it's always worth trying, because it's like Bob Ross said, there's a happy mistake, but there's just a plain mistake. I think he said that anyway. Don't cite me on that. I'm pretty sure. I was never a big Bob Ross fan, but everyone knows he said happy accidents or something like that. So there's happy accidents, and then there's accidents that cannot be fixed, and they're just not good. But you'll never know when you get that happy accident and it looks good. It's okay. But yeah, I'm just adding more ivy as you do with the tower. It has a lot of ivy in the movie anyway, so it's okay. It's just at one point I go a little bit too far, and it's like, girl, calm it down with the ivy. I know you like it, but calm it down. Here I'm just adding some more rocks. I think if you wanted to add to this build, I think you could probably add more to the top. And what I mean by that is if you do bb.move objects and you hit 9 on the keyboard, you can just move it up square by square. And so you can like place it wherever you want on the build. And I think that's what you need to do to get that effect I was trying to go for. Because if you look up a picture of um the Rapunzel's tower from Tangled, it like widens towards the bottom. It's like thinner at the top and then widens towards the bottom. But you can't do that with just like build tools with Sims. So I was trying to do it with rocks. I think it kind of gave a similar effect, but I think I probably should have gone higher with the rocks. That's okay. We know for next time. Um, I'm just doing landscaping now though. The landscaping was horrendous. I mean, it looks good now, but at the end you'll see like the trees were giving me nightmares because I couldn't figure out what tree looked best with the build. I was like, which kind of tree? But I ended up just chucking down whatever tree I saw that I think looked pretty, because that kind of gave it like a fantasy effect. Because in the fantasy worlds, there's no set, like there's inspirations, of course. Like Tangled, I believe, was set in Germany. I think it's a German tale, but so it's like inspired by German architecture. That's why it's like the Tudor housing, but that's also typically English style from the Tudor era, but it's also very popular in Germany. So that's what a lot of the inspiration was for the architecture in the movie. But of course, it's a fantasy land, so you kind of can have like the creative freedom you want with what landscaping there is, with what the buildings are gonna look like, etc. you know. So I ended up doing that in the end, and you can see there's the archway. Good, we're good. Okay. But you kind of see where that happens towards the end of the video. It's like the very last thing that happens. And you can see in the thumbnail too, like the trees surrounding my build are not one tree. There's like pine trees, there's these jungle trees, there's fruit trees, there's, I don't know, a whole bunch of trees that wouldn't ordinarily go together. But with this tower, I think it works and gives it that like otherworldly feel, which is good. But I'm glad we finally got to the archway point because it was hurting my soul that I didn't figure it out until now, until what is it, 20 minutes into the video. That's okay. And I apologize for the longer video today. I'm trying out something new because my other builds, they're typically 15 minutes because I speed it up really quickly and then, but I thought that I would try to speed it up a little bit less because it's kind of hard to follow what I'm doing if it goes super fast. Um, so yeah, that's why it's a little bit slower today. I might speed up just a tad faster next time, but I think it's a good speed. It's just this, what happens is also this build took me 3 days to do and 2 hour sessions. So what, that's 6 hours worth of footage. So of course, if you only speed up to 800%, it's gonna be a bit slower because each session's about 2 hours. So with the speeding up, I cut it down to about 10 minutes, which is definitely sped up. It's just not super speedy. It's like sped up enough to where it's fast, but you can still follow what I'm doing. Because I thought with my, especially my Spanish revival build that I did with the Courtyard Oasis kit, I thought that it was kind of too speedy at some points, you know. But so I'm trying out different things. I'm still new here. This is only what, my fifth video, so you know. But I use like a combination of build stuff in this tower. Like for the kitchen counters, that's the country kitchen kit. But for the bed, I used also a lot of Realm of Magic. So I'd say that the bed's Realm of Magic, and the stove top and the fridge I pick out is Realm of Magic because they have purple, lavendery hues. And I was like, that would be nice. So that's what I used. Um, and also feel free to change whatever you don't like in this build. Like, I want to make that clear. Like, yes, this is my build, and yes, you can download it off the gallery. But it's just because it's mine doesn't mean you can't change anything you don't like. Like, make it your own and play with it how you want to play. Um, change it to suit your Sims needs. I would assume you'd be playing like a Rapunzel Let's Play or something if you were to download this build, but it could also just be a, your own fantasy spin, whatever you want to do with it. Like literally change whatever you don't like because, I did what I liked, but just because I like it does not mean you'll like it, you know? But here I'm starting to finalize what the top shape is gonna look like. I kind of I'm getting happier with it, and this is kind of like the final shape right here. Is kind of This is kind of how I ended up with. Um, Here, yeah, there we go. There's the window, but this is what I ended up with, and I think that's a nice shape, and it gives you more space to put the kitchen in, and also gives you the ability to section off the bathroom from the rest of the living space. And I do that eventually. I don't immediately think of it, but I think of it eventually. See, I was a little bit slow in the building process, but it's okay. See, there we go. I'm starting to add the room. Yeah. And me and that stupid divider. I was, I was really trying to make the divider work, so it's just like, oh, this be cute. No, the room's better, because then you can have like a little L-shaped kitchen. It's cute. But that fridge is from Realm of Magic and Sink Country Kitchen. Um, it's just a lot of different stuff kind of thrown together. And I think that's the common theme with this build is that it's not one set style. Like yeah, it's a little country, a little bit magic, It's just a whole bunch of different stuff thrown together because it's a fantasy build. So you don't have any rules when building this. So that's kind of fun. Um, I would have liked to have put more paintings on the wall because, Rapunzel is an artist, and I think that would have been very fun to do. But unfortunately, it is a tower, and I didn't really have much wall space. Because I wanted to have natural lighting with the windows and stuff. Which I don't know. I don't think in the actual movie there's a ton of windows, but I know that's what I want to have, so that's what I put in. But I missed my opportunity in the kitchen, and I apologize for this. In the kitchen, I should have put a frying pan because, obvious reasons, that's her weapon in the movie. And I didn't put one in there. It's okay, but you can just add that when you download it if you want, because that would have been, ideal to have, but I didn't think of it at the time. But as I was editing it, I was like, oh man, I missed my opportunity big time. It's okay though. It's definitely roomier. It's not, well, it's not roomy by any means, but it's definitely roomier than I thought. You know, it's just you can fit a lot of stuff in there, and I think I don't know why that is. Maybe I just crammed stuff in and made it work, but I think it all works together. And yeah, I was trying to balance light and dark, so the kitchen's very light, but I was wanted to add some wood tones in to ground it because it is a wooden tower top. So yeah, and it was kind of bothering me because since it's an archway, you could kind of see the space between the tower and the fake balcony. And I didn't like that, so I just kind of covered it with a side table. But you can do whatever you want there. You don't have to have the side table there, but it was kind of bugging me that you could see the space between the tower and the balcony because then it just kind of loses its like feel of being able to step outside, if that makes sense. But here I am again, adding more and more ivy to my tower. That's okay, you know. I take some off eventually. Well, not off the base tower, but I go a little bit overboard in the on the top part of the tower with the ivy. Like I started like being like, oh, we need to make it blend in with the bottom, and then it's just like covered in green and couldn't see the details of the top. So I removed that ivy. So don't have to worry about that. But you know, things happen. And I think the most difficult part of this build was probably trying to keep my camera still. And that sounds weird because, you just don't move your camera then, right? Don't move your mouse or anything. But because the tower is so tall, it kind of kept on like kicking me off the top floor or kicking me off the bottom or just raising me up too high. It wasn't the right height ever, but I got the hang of it eventually. But I think that was the most annoying part was trying to keep the camera from bouncing up and down into different areas I didn't want to build in at the moment, you know. But I also noticed in the Rapunzel tower entangled, like it had a lot of hanging plants, so I added some of those. I had candles for lighting for, it's an old fashioned build, so I thought that'd be a nice touch. And the bathroom's kind of plain, I will say. I think that's my least favorite part of the build, the bathroom, because it has no color in it. But it's such a small area to put a bathroom that I was like, it's fine, but you can obviously add more. And I was gonna leave that rug in there, but then from the top view, it looked weird because I had the same kind of rug on the other side. And you might be thinking, Lauren, you know, the rug is not really the time period. I thought the same thing because it's a tweed rug from Cats and Dogs. But I was looking in the build from Tangled, and they use that kind of rug. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it gives like a fun little twist, and that's where the fantasy thing comes in again. You can have a lot of freedom with like what you do with it, with what you kind of, obviously has a lot of older style built items, but you can have a lot of fun with what you put in because it doesn't have to be 100% old. It can be with some newer items, with some different kinds of styles, and then just kind of, I think that's what gives it that fantasy feel to have the different variations and kind of just let it rock and do its thing and let it tell its own story rather than trying to force it on the viewer that this is from the 1600s, you know? Because obviously, I think I don't know how long, like what time period it's set in. And that's the thing too. That's why you can never tell what time period things are set in for Disney because A, they're not historically accurate most of the time, but also B, it's because they use different influences from like different time periods. And I think that makes it really fun and gives it kind of like has its own spin, its own take with how things are portrayed in the movie. And I also think it keeps the viewer attached to Disney because if it was just, if kids are watching, I don't know, a 1400th um movie at some point, you might lose their attention because there's nothing they can relate to except for the fact that they're like, oh, I want to be a princess, or I want to be a prince, or I like the horse, or something. um, so it just kind of gives them something to relate to and something to grab onto. I think. Anyway, that's my theory. Don't quote me again. Um, I think a lot. So I have a whole bunch of theories in my head about things, and I don't know. They could be right. They could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah. So I was also hesitant to make this video this long just because, I didn't want to cut out a bunch of stuff because it is like I wanted you to see how I built it. Um, so I was hesitant to make it this long, so I didn't know if I could talk for this long. But, you know, I think I'm doing okay. I'm a bit rambly. I'm a bit of a rambly of a person. Um, I talk about a lot of different things. My brain goes like 100 miles per minute, but hope you didn't mind. Um, I'm just adding some more landscaping down here to blend in that like kind of like rocky terrain they have. They put that in automatically whenever you raise the build up a bit. But yeah, so I'm just adding some rocks to make it kind of three-dimensional, so just like this flat kind of rock area. Because like I don't know, it just kind of seems weird to me that the rocks there are like flat, but it is The Sims. So what can ya do? And I think I'm getting close to the part where I change the trees a bajillion times and like, oh my god, I can't build. I don't know how to do trees. I was actually thinking that. I was like, oh my god, I stink. I can't do trees at all. But it worked out. And it's what I was talking about. I was adding all this ivy to the top part and you couldn't see the beautiful woodwork anymore. So I deleted that eventually. But it was a phase. I did everything I wanted to do, and then I was like, looked at it, and I was like, you can't see much. Doesn't look that good. So then I removed it. I don't know if I do that right now, or yeah, I'm starting to remove it now, because I'm just like, dude, you can't see anything. There's no difference between the bottom and the top now. So, yeah. And I'm just doing like finishing touches on landscaping now, because I was 100% happy, and I think it's mainly because it didn't give me like a forest feel. And given I know in the movie it's more in like a grotto cave area where it's surrounded by rocks, but I didn't really want to do that because that's a lot of work to surround it by rocks, and also it looked really ugly in the world that you're playing in. So it worked out how it's supposed to work out, and I'm happy with it. But at first I was like, I'll just add a bunch of oak trees. And I was like, that looks stupid. So then I started adding a bunch of evergreen trees from Granite Falls. And then I get to the point where I'm like, you know what? Just put in random trees and it'll all work together eventually. And it does. So can't say I wasn't wrong. Can't say I was wrong. um, yeah, see, I'm like adding all those trees. I was like, that looks too like uniform. I think that was the dilemma too, because the trees all look too uniform because you could see all of them in the build, and I was like, they look the same. You can tell they're all the same tree, and that's just dumb. So I started adding in this tree from, I think it was Jungle Adventure. Yeah, that one. That's a pretty tree, I think. But you know, that's a pretty tree, and I think it looks lovely. And it starts to come together. You can really see how it all works together because it's hard to see at first. because you're just putting all these random trees down. But at the end of the day, when you look at it against the tower and you realize like how like unique it makes it look, then you're like, oh, okay, looks good. So that was very exciting. And yeah, so you guys enjoy the rest of the build, and the slideshow is going to be playing soon. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I want to enjoy the little montage of me putting the trees down because it takes a little while, but enjoy the rest of your day, and and make sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed, and let me know down below if you liked the longer video, if you prefer a shorter video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.